Lay on your back with your legs straight, big toes a fist width apart. Bring your left knee towards your chest, interlacing your fingers behind your knee, and circle outwards at the ankle. You want to involve your toes and make big, pretty circles. We're working up to 30 of these. And with your right leg that's straight, you just want to make sure your toes are not flopping out towards the side. So bring them up towards the ceiling. Now we're switching directions. Circle towards the inside. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and you're breathing. Your shin bone should be parallel with the floor as you do these, and you should eventually feel a nice little gentle scream in that front of the foot, front of the shin area. And now points and flexes. Point your toes like a gymnast, pull them back towards your shins. If you're not feeling a burn, you'll probably start to feel a burn shortly. And make sure you involve the toes. The more you involve the toes, the more you're going to feel this exercise. Awesome job. And if you're working your way up to 30 of each of these, just make sure you keep it even on both sides. Left leg extended, toes up towards the ceiling, right leg back, and you are circling out with the right foot and ankle. And you'll notice that I'm just moving at the ankle and foot. My knee's not moving, my shin's not moving. Nice big circles. You might notice that you make squares or triangles or an oval. And little by little, you want to get back to that circle. Circling inwards now. Again, breathing, relaxing those shoulders, and making as pretty of a circle as you can. And now we're pointing and flexing. Point your toes like a gymnast, pull them back towards your shins. And you want to pull that big toe back just as much as the little toe. A tip for that is if you lead with that pinky toe side as you pull back, that'll pull them back nice and even. Finishing strong, we're almost done. Great job. Both knees bent a fist width apart, toes pointing straight. Cross your left ankle over your right knee and rotate your lower body to the floor. You're pushing your left knee towards the wall, so away from your body. Arms are out like a cross, palms up. And you're gently looking towards your left hand. Breathe into that left rib cage area and notice where you feel the stretch. Is it a big stretch, a medium stretch, a little stretch? When we switch to the other side, you want to see if it's in the same area and the same intensity, or if it's in a different area and a different intensity. Breathe and relax the upper body. And again, you're pushing that left knee away from your body. Coming back up to center, I'll give you a different angle. Knees a fist width apart. Crossing that right ankle over the left knee and rotating the lower body to the left, pushing that right knee away from you and breathing into that right rib cage. Arms are out like a cross, palms up, and you're gently looking towards that right hand. See where you're feeling this stretch. Is it similar or different than the other direction? And what intensity is it? Is it easier or harder as you go to this side? Do you have a better range of motion in that hip? Are you able to push the knee further or less? Breathing and relaxing that upper body as you push that right knee away from you. Inhale, rotate back up. We're going on to our hands and knees, a fist width in between the knees, hips right over your knees, shoulders right over your wrist. Arch your back towards the ceiling using your abs. Roll your pelvis forward using the muscles in front of the hips. Cats and dogs. Toes are relaxed behind you. Breathing. Make this a medium range of motion in either direction. In the dog, letting those shoulder blades collapse together, gently looking up if that feels good. Nice job. Standing on up. Big toes a fist width apart. Curl your fingertips to your finger pads, open palm, thumbs pointed forward, palms to the ground, circling up and forwards about a salad plate big. Belly relaxed. You'll feel your torso wobble as you do this. If you look down your arm, you want to see half the circle in front of your body and half the circle behind your body. Palms up, thumbs pointing backwards, and you're going up and backwards for this one. Breathing. Backwards might be a little more challenging, and that is a-okay. Awesome job. And we're jump roping. Same one as last week. You'll notice we did a couple more arm circles in that last exercise, slowly building our way up, shaking out those shoulders if you need to. Feet are hip width apart, toes are still pointed straight forward. Take a look down at your own feet, see what they're doing. You want to be coming up and down in the same spot, not shuffling all over the floor. So see if you've moved. And again, feel free to adjust any of these exercises, the sets, reps, or time. Keep everything at a medium today. Doing an awesome job. Making our way down onto our belly, we are going to be on our elbows, elbows right underneath our shoulders, tucking our toes, thigh muscles tight. Doing a little plank. Let those shoulder blades collapse together if you can, keeping those hips up. You want your shoulder, your hips, your knee, and your ankle in a nice straight line. You don't want those hips sinking to the floor and making you look like a sway back horse. You should have an arch in your low back. You don't want to use your abs to kind of suck and tuck your pelvis and create a flat back. Onto the side, ankles, knees, and hips in a nice straight line. Pull those toes back, tighten up those thigh muscles. You can either have your hand resting on your body or you can bring it up towards the ceiling. And again, you just want to look and make sure those hips and knees and shoulders are stacked on top of one another. Elbow right underneath your shoulder, quads tight, toes back. And make sure you're breathing. Is it easier on the first side or on the second side? Elbow right underneath your shoulder. Nice straight line, ankles, knees, hips in a straight line, quads tight, toes back. Top arm, the wrist should be in line with your shoulder, and you're breathing. Again, letting those shoulders come together if you can. Making sure those hips are staying stacked on top of one another. You don't want to lean forwards or backwards. And last position, big toes a fist width apart, elbows right underneath your shoulders, and you're coming on up. You want to pull your toes back evenly for this exercise, thigh muscles tight, and drive your hips up towards the ceiling, and find a comfortable spot with your neck to the best of your ability. Pinky toe pulled back just as much as big toe on those feet, thigh muscles tight, driving those hips up. Great job. Arms out straight, shoulder height. Pin those shoulder blades down and back. Keep them pinched as you do these high knees. Bringing the knee up right in line with the shoulder, feet straight ahead. Make sure you're breathing. And if the jump is a little too intense for you, you can always walk for these. Lifting from the front of the hip. Whether or not you're doing the bounce, lifting from the front of the hip. You want to bring your knees straight up in line with your shoulders. You don't want your knees to get close to touching or to go out to the sides like a frog. Breathing. Awesome job. Onto the floor for some crab walks. Fingers are pointed towards your toes, picking those hips up off the ground, walking the foot out, and then walking the hands to meet it. We're going to do 5 in one direction and 5 in the other. If you're not quite there, you can just get in this position and lift those hips up off the ground, hold it for a couple seconds and set it back down. Take a break, shake it out. Toes pointed straight, fingers pointed towards your toes, walking out that foot, and then walking your hands to meet your feet. An even number to the right, an even number to the left. Keeping those hips up as much as you can. Great job. And we're skipping in place here, driving that knee up towards the ceiling. Feet hip width apart, toes straight. Like with the high knees, you want to keep those knees right in line with your shoulders. You don't want them going in or out. Arms are swinging along. Shoulders are relaxed. And you're breathing. We're nearing the end of this workout. You guys are doing a great job. Making your way onto your back, knees bent at 90 degrees. Interlace your fingers behind your head, head and elbows resting on the ground. Look behind you, pick a spot on the ceiling, and you don't want to lose sight of that spot as you crunch up or you're crunching too high. Shoulder blades should be coming 2 or 3 inches off the ground, and your head and your elbows should hit the ground at the same time. That's the most important part. Head and elbows hitting the ground at the same time. Your feet are straight, pointed right up towards the ceiling. Knees are a fist width apart. Breathing as you do this exercise. Finishing strong. You want your abs to do this exercise, not your head and neck and upper body. Final exercise, stand with your feet hip width apart, so a little more, or a fist in between those big toes, arms out like a zombie, shoulder blades down and back, and you're sinking low like you're trying to squat over a toilet that you don't want to touch. And you want to keep your torso nice and vertical, so you don't want it to pitch forward. And if I sink any lower than that, then my torso is going to start going forward towards the ground. You don't want those knees to come over your big toes. Arms nice and straight, shoulders down and back, torso vertical. Make sure you're breathing. Every once in a while, you can see if you can sink a little bit lower. Pelvis is going to roll forward, belly relaxed. Awesome job. See you next time.